So I'm on a nice cold walk here in Boston, where my wife is from. We're spending Christmas here with her family. And wanted to share with you guys that I am ending the year in the middle of one of the most challenging moments I've had yet building this business. My name is Brian Bandas. I'm building a real estate development company. I'm becoming a better father, a better husband, a better entrepreneur, and a better man every single day. Let's get it. To put it candidly, I'm sort of getting my ass kicked right now. What's challenging at times is to figure out how much am I actually really getting my ass kicked and how much of it is sort of the emotional reaction to the challenges. Like, how many of the problems are real, logistical, practical, business problems, financial problems, whatever, versus how much of the problem is my ability to navigate it and sort of walk through uncertainty, difficulty, challenges, and deal with that emotionally. One benefit I'm seeing in this time is that from an internal standpoint, it's forcing me into a time of reflection. It's also causing me to problem solve from an external standpoint, also reflect. And one of the big things I just learned is that this applies to anyone building a business, not just real estate development. The amount of operating capital that I need. I purchased an investment property recently, knowing that I was going to leave a certain number of hundreds of thousands of dollars left for operating capital. And surely that's more than enough. Now here I am going, man, when I'm running a business like this, the money's moving fast and furious. And what used to be a lot of liquid cash is not a lot of liquid cash now. So the point is not for me to be like, hey, I have all this cash. Frankly, it feels like I don't now as I'm looking ahead. The point is that my ability to sort of project is actually a weakness of mine right now. It's a weakness that I now identify as a weakness because of the challenging moment I'm going through. And it's forcing me to problem solve, and it's forcing me to refine the way that I plan out cash flow in the future. And frankly, that's gonna make me a better business owner. It's gonna make me more financially healthy in the long run, but I have to go through this moment of discomfort right now in order to get that benefit and get that growth. I've been reading The Obstacle is the Way, and this I actually started reading it before the proverbial you-know-what hit the fan, and the timing was perfect because suddenly I'm hitting these obstacles, and I've been trying to go, what is the opportunity here? What is this paving the way for? And if I'm able to push through it and stand up under it, what it's paving the way for is for me to have better systems, to be more capable and thorough in my projections. One of the challenges with real estate development is not only how cash intensive it is, but how long the deal cycle is. My cash right now might be paying interest only loan payments on construction loans for, let's say, a year and a half before, whatever particular project sells. So the length of that deal cycle, there's a real learning curve for me. And I'm a few years in and I'm still learning the hard way. And really the learning curve is I'm not doing one deal. I'm not doing 3 deals, 5 deals. I've got 40 plus units in process. And that is a different level of, the velocity of capital moving around. The need for capital reserves is just different at that scale. And I've never been at this scale before. This is my first time being at this scale. And I'm trying to go bigger, right? I'm trying to do, as we saw in that video in the past, I might be doing 100 to 120 in a year. So one of the questions I have to think about now, this really is for my developers, but really I think you can apply this to any business. The question is, how much capital per deal do I need to have? How much reserves? An example would be, there's a couple ways that this can matter. Okay, here's a couple ways that I could use that cash. If I've got a deal and we come to the end of the build and we're, say, $25,000 short, I've got to have that $25,000 in cash. It doesn't necessarily have to be mine, but I have to have it in order to finish building that and sell it. Now, right now, I've got a 4 build. And so when we're 50 short on 4 units, and all of a sudden I got to find 200 grand to finish building this and be able to sell it, right? One of the questions I've been asking myself is, however many homes I have that are supposed to be completed in the next 6 months, we could even do shorter. We could even say, 3 or 4 months. However many homes I'm coming to the end where I might deal with this shortfall and have to basically pay cash, dollar for dollar instead of out of a loan to finish the construction and be able to sell and get my money back and keep rolling. However many units I have, how much cash per unit should I plan to have in reserves specifically for that problem? So I would say that's probably needs to be separate from just my capital reserves to run my business. I got 10 projects closing in the next, 6 months. I need to have $25,000 per unit sitting there just in case we come up short. Because as an example, if it's a 10 unit project, if I come up $25,000 short on my budget, I actually have to have $250,000, 25 per unit to complete those units and sell them. So that's one example of, I would say, where the obstacle is the way. The opportunity here is to look at the situation and learn how better to plan and project. What kind of reserves do I need to have for my company truly to be healthy, for my company to be financially secure, and my team members, therefore, to be financially secure. So that's one of the things I'm up against here, winding down the year. However, going into next year, I'm really excited. I think that I will end up before the end of the year with at least 2 more full-time team members. More on that later. I know that I'm going to be completing really probably our first 9 or 10 units that our construction team built. A lot of great things are going to happen. And in the meantime, I have to keep my head right, and I have to navigate these uncomfortable and difficult situations with some resilience. I wanted to share that because I'm sure I'm not the only one running up against a brick wall now and then. Working on Brian Bandas Builds a Business, and working on, what I'm doing over on Instagram, the Deal Architect course, putting the book out. By the way, guys, I did write a book on real estate development. It's on Amazon. It's called Real Estate Development 101. And it just goes over what I consider to be the 3 sort of foundational ingredients. The 3, I think it actually says the 3 keys to unlocking your first deal. So some pretty quality wordplay. Go check it out. It's on Amazon. Working on the book, putting out the book, and just really getting some awesome, encouraging feedback from you guys. Working on this channel and building up the brand, building up, the course and putting the course out, meeting some really cool people through that this year. It has been awesome. And I'm really excited to see what unfolds over the course of this next year. So let me tell you something about myself that some of y'all may know, but probably most of you don't. I don't really set New Year's resolutions. I don't have a problem with them. So if you do, by all means. But for me, I'm constantly sort of changing and adding things, subtracting things, all of that, refining what I'm doing, like all the time. And so I guess the truth of the matter is, for me, the way I operate is, if I think of something or find something that I really feel is worth doing, I just start right then. I'll give you a perfect example. About a month ago, I just started doing jujitsu. And rather than wait until January 1st, as if that day somehow is more special, I just started. And so I don't really do New Year's resolutions. However, I do think that the new year is sort of a good opportunity to reflect and go, what did I accomplish? What did I do well? What are some areas I can learn and grow? Which, believe me, there's plenty of those this year. And so that's sort of what I'm doing for this new year. So I don't really have a resolution to share, but I did want to use this jujitsu thing as an example. So I just started jujitsu. I'm with my in-laws in Boston right now. And so I'm actually tomorrow going to go in at noon to a class at a school that I've never been to and take a lesson and roll with some people I've never met. And spoiler, it'll be my 4th lesson. Okay. So I'm not good or anywhere close to good. I know pretty much nothing at this point. So I just know that I'm going to go in and get my ass kicked. That's just the deal. That's how it's going to go. I was talking to my sons about this And there's a quote, and I don't know who to attribute it to. It's not mine, but the idea is that if you want to be good at something, you have to first be okay with being bad at it. Maybe it was. So I'm finding that my willingness to endure the discomfort of struggling through something at the beginning and being bad at something is actually a strength of mine. So I'm leaning into that, and I'm willing to go in and be bad at jujitsu and get submitted and choked and armbarred and whatever else happens to me tomorrow and for the next many classes. But I wanted to sort of share that and encourage you guys, like, constantly be evolving, constantly be looking for growth. Don't look to grow starting January 1. Look to grow every day. Look to add something meaningful or subtract something detrimental or harmful, like all year long. So my example of that right now is jujitsu. I could have waited, but I just wanted to start. And then I wanted to tell you guys that I'm really bad at it. I'm going to get crushed for like months and months on end. And I'm experiencing the same thing in my business. And I sort of remind myself that like every good story, every good movie, every good sort of hero or success story has these pivotal moments, right? It's like Jordan getting cut from the high school basketball team, or, you know, with story arc, professional storytellers know that you have to put this main character in a perilous situation where you're not sure if he's going to make it. And I would say that I'm in a moment like that in my business. I don't know that I'm on the verge of not making it, but I definitely have that fear. I definitely am uncomfortable, and I'm learning some things the hard way. And I can see that, all right, with the new knowledge, if I can just get through this moment and not let it completely crumble, not fail, not quit, but just push through this, that there's another expansive like opportunity for growth on the other side of this obstacle. And so if you guys are building businesses, whether you're doing real estate development like I am, or you're building something completely different, or you're trying to tackle a totally different goal, learn jujitsu, start a bakery, lose 50 pounds, whatever, there's gonna be these pivotal moments like I feel like I'm in right now, which is high level of discomfort, some discouragement, some emotional, turmoil, some fear of the future and the unknown of like, am I gonna figure this out? Am I gonna make it? And I don't wanna get on here and do these videos and get on Instagram and just give off this idea that like, man, I've got it together. I don't know why you guys are struggling because it's easy for me, because that just is not true. The journey is a real challenge for me at times. I feel safe assuming that it is for you. And so I have to remind myself, A, that there's immense value in that difficulty. And the fact that it's challenging also makes it really, really valuable. And B, that every single great story of triumph includes a moment of truth, right? Where you're up against it and you're between a rock and a hard place and you don't know how the good guy is going to win. Every good story has that. I'm having a little bit of mine. I'm sure it's not the last one, but I'm having one of those right now, and it's a challenge. And I always like to share that. I want to be vulnerable on here, and I want you guys to know that if you're in that moment, stick it out. Do not stop. That's what I'm doing. I'm sticking it out. I'm not stopping. I'll tell you what, it's not glamorous. It's not, I wish I could sit here and say that as I work through this challenging moment, I've got a great attitude the whole time and I'm confident that I'll figure it out. No, like that's where the emotional turmoil comes in, is like, gosh, half the time I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna figure it out. I don't know what to do. I can't do it. So going into 2023, I don't have any goals to share, but I do believe that if I can push through this moment of difficulty and discouragement, this sort of trial, I think I could have my first $1 million year as a company. And as you guys know, I'm trying to move toward a $10 million per year company. I think that the 2 hires that I've got my eyeball on could really, really open up that possibility and take it to new levels. And I think that's all available to me this year. But step 1 is to navigate with perseverance and a little bit of grit this challenging moment that I'm in the middle of. And so I want to be vulnerable and honest with you guys when I have these moments, because I know you're going to have them, and I don't want you listening to the BS that there are people out there who do great things and never have to go through this. That's just not real. So my 2023 is going to be fantastic. I don't have specific goals because I'm always refining my goals. So there's no goals that officially start on January 1st, but I am starting jujitsu, and I'll probably share some of that journey with you guys on Instagram now and then. As you know, I like to share my workouts and all that. But listen, thank you so much for being a part of an awesome 2022. Things really, man, this was a life-changing year for me. So thank you for being a part of it. And listen, throw me one of those and one of those and maybe one of those. If you're getting something out of this, share it with a friend. Holler at me on Instagram. You guys are awesome. See ya.